So, there won't be an intro. There won't be any, like, outhouse stuff like the last few times because it's crazy. I mean, it never, it never gets old. That feeling when you make it to the end of like a show or a series or just like anything, and you get to the end and you're just like, we made it. We're here. And part of me feels satisfied, but another part of me just wants wants to keep going. I want to see this world, these characters. Just I want to see more. I mean, not just this show. I mean, again, there's so many shows where I've wanted to see more after the end because just again, I mean, just so yeah, no, this let me just so this is the Owl House, and this is episode 43 of the series, episode 3 of season 3, or the finale of the show, Watching and Dreaming. And I don't know why, but just this finale versus. I mean, it's crazy how all of this started back in late 2020 when I was at home. It was winter break. I was the only person in my house, and I was bored out of my mind. It was a really long winter break. It was 2020, so I couldn't really go anywhere. I couldn't really do much. So I was just at home, and I was just scrolling through Disney Plus, and one of the things that popped up it said, because you like Gravity Falls, you may also like this. And the Owl House was one of them. Owl House was one of the shows that popped up. Yet, I mean, the image pulled me in with the idea of like just, you know, it was the classic one with Luce, flying on over. It had a light glyph while Ida was surfing and King was hanging on for dear life. But yet the first 3 episodes I found them fun, but nothing was telling me that this is a show I need to watch. Like, this was a show that I felt like, oh, this is fun, this is nice, but I don't know if this is a show that I would want to come back to. Then it did. It eventually pulled me in, and here we are now at the end, and I feel like out of so many finales that I've seen, this one just feels so. It feels right. Yet at the same time, you want more. Like, they do a flash forward with this finale. They go the whole end credits are them. You see them about to take the next step. They're Luce is going to college. They have a party. Everyone, well, I mean, everyone that was on the main side of good was there, and it just felt so right. Seeing that last frame of all of them there, they're saying bye, Crip Funny, fourth wall break. It just felt right. And I feel like I didn't think I would see something like that in this show. Something like Gravity Falls, how does that show end? Well, their summer ends and they go home. And everyone who they've connected with is saying goodbye. That's how that show ends. How did Amphibia end? Amphibia ended with them going back home as well, but also saying their goodbyes to their friends, and then you get a flash forward of that, but even with that, it felt very it felt very quick, short and sweet, I think, was for Amphibia. This one I felt like, at least right now, because I literally just watched the episode. It's 9:30. Like it's about like oh wait, not 9:30. It's literally like so whatever like it's been a few minutes. But I I feel like what I thought this finale was gonna be, it exceeded my expectations in so many areas. Yet it also caught me off guard in areas I didn't think it would do. And then it did stuff that I felt like, man, holy. Okay. I think I rambled on enough. Let's get into it. So, this whole thing starts with, well, even before the episode began, they gotta have this nice little recap promo thing showing all the various things that have happened on the show, thanking us the viewers for going along on this journey with watching all these characters grow. And now here we are with the finale, which starts off kind of like with, I mean, it starts off basically where the last one left off, with the Collector saying, I think I want to play a new game. He captures everyone, he throws loose Ida and King into these nightmares where they basically have to confront their demons, everything that they've done. For Luce, she feels like, she is, she feels like, she's just as bad as Belos, so what's her nightmare? She's in the throne, she's in the castle, she's dressed up as Belos, she sees every witch that she's known as a petrified, and then Amity, Willow, Gus, and Hunter, they all attack her because they all blame her for things that have happened. It's like, we've lost our families because of you. You are a hypocrite for everything that you've done. You've taken it. Our lives were fine until you showed up. But all that yada yada yada. But Luce, I found it interesting when she realizes, at first she's like, is this a dream? Is this like a nightmare? Then she realizes that Amity and the crew, they're facing her off, and then Amity says, I challenge you to a witch's battle. And at first when she said that, I'm like thinking, is that like another form of a duel? Because I mean, a witch's duel is a 1v1, is a battle, like, because there's 4 of them. But then Luce questions that, just being like, wait a minute, that's not the line. The line is witch's duel. This isn't right. And so that's when she realizes that, it's not real, it's fake. At least I thought it was fake, and then all of a sudden Amy and the crew start talking to her, and they're like, you gotta wake up, and Luce is like, how? And then I found Hunter's analogy interesting, being like, what's the first thing you do when you wake up from a nightmare? You turn on the light. And it's like, huh, that's interesting. But yeah, so Luce, she draws a light glyph, and then she wakes up, and she finds that Ida and King are on top of a Rubik's Cube in space, I think. I don't know. But she's able to pull Ida and King out of their nightmares, which was, Ida's nightmare was she was in the conformatorium, she was locked away, because as her nightmare Lilith and Mother said, beasts should be locked away for good, all that, they're a danger, they cause nothing but trouble and havoc. So for Ida, of course, that's a nightmare, because she's got the owl beast and all that, so. But then, King's nightmare, he's back on Titan Trapper Island with, Bill, who is like, King sees all the skulls of his fallen titans, and Bill makes this sadistic line of, what, you don't recognize your siblings? It's like, that's just messed up. And then, and then Bill's like, don't worry, we stayed a special place for you. And it's just like, oh man. But Luce is able to pull him out, and I just love the rush of emotions from all of them. Like, Luce knows it's Ida and King, but King and Ida are like, they have to take a second being like, wait, is that really you? Is this real? Is it like, and they each like freak out about something, like Luce being looking at Ida's hand, being like, "How did that happen?" And then they're like, "Wait, what happened, Luce? Luce, how'd you get back?" And it's like, it's a really long story. There was Belos. Wait, Belos, and it's like, wait, what? And it's just like, okay, yeah, there's all this, there were all that. We ran into Kikimora. She was a pain, and King's like, I can imagine. It was just the right amount. I think it was the right amount of freaking out, but also just being so relieved to have found each other. And that is until I'm just yeah. That is until Collector sees them free, and then he's mad, and he says Ray Ray. That's to Ray, and that's such a ridiculous nickname. But the Collector's like, they're like, you said that game would work, that they would have to do that. And then Belos is like, why don't you just simply get rid of them? And then I found it interesting that the Collector's like, he doesn't want to. They don't actually want to kill him. They want them to be their friend. I mean, it makes sense. King, Luce, and Ida. Or at least King. And of course, Belos then is like, wait, the dog? Why do you want to be friends with the dog? And then the Collector's like, because he's a Titan. And I'm just like, a part of me just wishes, like, because we see the reaction through Rain's eye, like Rain, we get to see, like, it's Rain's face, and we see the reaction. And a part of me wishes they kind of like went in, and you have like maybe an inner like Belos, and I just wanted to see the look on his face when he heard that, just being like, because he nearly petrified King in season 1 in the finale. He probably had. I mean, I don't blame him for not having a clue that King was a Titan, because no one thought King was a Titan until it was discovered. But then, of course, the Collector mentions the Titan's heart in the throne room, and being like, that thing is still that thing's still active. It's powerful. Like, Titans are crazy. And then, of course, Belos gets the idea of of course. I found it interesting, like, so many people, like, theorize that, because I think there was a leak in season 2 with the vision Belos gave to the Coven heads, that being, instead of, and one of the scenes was, instead of the Titan's head, the demon realm merging with the human realm, it was the Titan would rise from the sea and actually be revived somehow. So people kind of theorized that maybe that's what Belos's last resort was gonna be. And I guess here, it wasn't really a planned last resort, it was just an improvised last resort. So we have that with Belos going back to the castle and possessing the Titan, even though Rain tries their hardest to stop him. I really, I can't pronounce. I think it's Avi Rook. I don't know how to pronounce their name right. I don't know why I didn't get that down, but the voice of Rain, they really did a great job here as just, I don't know, it was just the way they were, just arguing with Belos, screaming at Belos, the way, because, I mean, and even the little fight that they have with Belos is so good. I just felt like the performance was great. But unfortunately, they can't stop Belos from possessing the heart of the Titan. So, yeah, there's that problem. But before any of that happened, we had, the Collector, coming back to Ida, King, and Luce, and just being like, I don't get it. Why can't you? I thought you guys were, it's like, King, I thought you wanted to be my friend. Why not stick with these and spiders? And then Ida's like, hey, yeah, you better back off. And Luce is like, yeah, because spiders are cool. I'm like, okay. And then the Collector basically is just like, it's just like, okay, fine, let's play some of my favorite games, which include Pac-Man, Marbles, Jenga. That was freaking ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. And but then eventually, the Collector, he kind of gives up on playing games, and he just goes to a corner and he just starts crying, basically, because he feels like it's not fair in a way, like the way that he's like, he has no friends, he's all alone. People have only tricked him, lied to him, have done nothing but pick on him in a way. And then he kind of reveals that he was tricked by his siblings. The archivers apparently are their names. And he's like, they told me to go down to go down to here to play with the Titans because it's fun. And he's like, it was fun. The baby Titans were so much fun. But then the archivers grew afraid of the Titans because they thought they were too powerful. And so basically this whole Titan archiver war began unintentionally from the Collector, I guess. And then unfortunately for the Collector, he was the one who was punished, he's like, the Titan trapped me in the in-between for all this time. And he's like, why me? Why was it me? And it's like, and of course, Luce, King, and Ida, they each connect with the Titan in a way, this like, Ida being like considered an outcast, King being abandoned in a way, Luce being never, wanting to be understood, and so I like how they help the Collector understand that there's more to people than they probably realize. They're very complex. That it's not everything is black and white. And I love how they basically just take the Collector through kind of like the journey that they went on, even though the Collector's like, King already told me this story. But Luce is like, yeah, but it's another thing to actually see it. And I like that. And that is true. Sometimes actions speak louder than words. Actually seeing it, living it versus being told it is a lot more powerful. So I like that. Although the one thing I found odd was this first half felt very, very quick. I felt like everything from the start of this episode to around this point is where I was like, okay, this felt like we went from here to here and like that. I felt pretty sure it wasn't even like 15 minutes that we got to this point. But it gave, I think it makes sense because it gave time for them to then go to, they're traveling around the Bowling Isles. They're seeing a few things, like they see the Owl House. They eventually go to the Grudgeby Field, and the Collector's like, I didn't even know this was a game. This looks like so much fun. And then Luce, and then he eventually learns, the Collector, they try to understand, but at the same time they're like, I don't get it. He's like, they're just someone who, I mean, it makes sense because, they're this all-powerful being and they're a kid, basically. And it's just like, for them, like they kind of had this analogy of toys being like, if they break, we can simply fix them. But that's not how it works for a human or mortals. But, yeah, so then, but it's fun how Luce, Ida, and King kind of show them that there's a lot more. And I like, a part of me feels like the Collector kind of realized that too quick, but at the same time, I think it's because they do act like a kid and they have that emotional moment. That's when I realized, oh yeah, they are. I mean, last episode they had that, and even a few times before, they're just a kid, they kind of feel like they can do everything, but at the same time they can't do anything. And unfortunately for them, they realize that, although this is also another interesting tidbit with they're on the knee, and Luce is like, this is where Ida showed me that the Titan's magic, I gotta connect with the Titan. And then Collector's like, so how did you, how did you actually get to talk to the Titan? And it's like, wait, what? And it's like, yeah, because the Titan may be dead, but it's like, it's still there, it's still connecting. And, it's like, how did you do it? And I'm like, I mean, it makes sense too, it's like, even Belos kind of made that joke last season, being like, oh, it's almost as if the Titan is helping you with this. And it's like, yeah, maybe because the Titan is helping her with this. So I thought that was another interesting, like, oh, they threw that in there. But unfortunately for them, things are cut short because, again, Belos connects with the Titan, and he's taking over the entire Boiling Isles. He's taking over everything. And fortunately for the group, In the archive house, Amity and Co are able to break out of their doll form because Amity was able to create a light glyph, which is how she gets out, and then eventually everyone else gets out. But they're so tired, they can't really use their magic because they're just out of it. So that's why they. Oh wait, I'm jumping too far ahead because there was another moment where. Okay, here we go. So with Belos becoming the Titan, he kind of starts off as this Godzilla form because he literally just emerges as a kaiju and starts fire, like basically has his atomic breath and he's just laying waste to everything. And then the Collector, they originally think Belos is doing all this, and Luce beforehand said you gotta have people, can't just simply force things. You need to have kindness and forgiveness. And so the Collector tries that out. They try to connect with Belos to kind of forgive him. But of course, in that moment, you're like, no, that's not the person that'll work on. And then Belos, he fires at the Collector and Luce. This genuinely was something that completely caught me off guard. Because, so Luce temporarily dies here. Basically. She sacrifices herself to protect the Collector from Belos, but in the process she herself gets taken away. She starts basically turning into this Belos Titan goop, and she does the exact same line that Ida said in Young Blood Old Souls, that being we're gonna be separate, I'm gonna be going away. I should be used to this, but I'm not, take care of each other, all that. And then she goes. And a part of me was just, I couldn't believe they did that. In Amphibia, when Anne gave her life to save everyone, that was set up. That was set up earlier in the episode when Mother Olm told her about this special power to take all 3 stones and use it, but it came at a price. So, but here, it was just sudden. Luce swoops in, takes the shot, and in that moment, you're just like, oh, wait. And you're thinking, oh, she probably used her staff. But then they show that she's slowly becoming this, and I'm like, wait. And even the Collector's like, I can fix this. Nothing works because it's Titan magic. Titan magic can't, Collector magic can't do anything against Titan magic. So Luce, it seems like Luce is done for, and then she just disintegrates and becomes few specks of light that scatter throughout the aisles. And at that moment, I'm like, holy. But then a part of me realized, because, again, Amphibia did this, but a part of me was like, this works a lot better here. I realized in that moment, because Luke, there's no way Luce was gonna stay dead. I knew that. And I felt however they bring her back, I'm if they do it right, it'll be way better than Amphibia. I'm sorry. And yeah, I was right. Because, although, before we get to that, so after Luce gives her life, Ida and King, yeah, they basically go into beast mode, and I'm not meaning that as a metaphorical line. I mean they literally go beast mode. Ida goes to the maximum level of the Owl Beast, and King unleashes what I'm guessing is just his full-on rage of a Titan, because it makes sense. The death of Luce just breaks them both, and they even Ida's you might want to step aside, kid. And basically they take on Belos, and it is insane. Just I mean, again, it's just, if you said at the beginning of this series that the finale is going to be Ida and King going full on beast mode, attacking this ginormous, goopy, Godzilla like monster. What the freaking heck? But it's just the way it was set up, everything up to this point is insane, and it's. Oh my god. But then, like I said, I mean, there's no way they're gonna kill Luce, and so she goes into the in between where there was this mysterious person last episode that she saw, and we find out here that it's not only it's the actual Titan, King's father, and he looked kind of weird. He had one eye. He had one eye. One of them was a little hooty, weird, and then he had like a coat on. I think it was the coat that Ida wore during that Once Upon a Swap with like the weird outfit that she had. And then he had the Bad Girls Coven shirt, and then he had sweatpants with clips on it, which was pretty good. And I don't know if those are PJ or those are sweatpants yet, but those are definitely gonna be sweatpants after this episode. And he seemed pretty laid back, but I guess that makes sense because, I mean, he's been dead for how long? He's probably gotten used to the state he's in. But he tells Luce they're basically in this in-between, because Luce is like, did I actually die? And he's like, no. He's like, no, but if you sink into the darkness without a portal, yes, you will die. So it's like, oh boy. And his father's like, King's father is like, he's like, I love Luce though, just being Luce, like, once again, just being like, I can't believe I did that again. He's like, I told the Collector kindness and forgiveness. I wanted to see the Collector just blow Belos away, but instead what I told them led to this. And so once again, she's kicking herself off. She's beating herself up for this. And then the Titan's like, hey, we all make mistakes. I put that Collector away because I thought they were the ones who they were the bad guy, but I was wrong. I put the wrong person. And it's like, but Luce is like, but that's kind of the thing, Belos, this whole thing started because of what happened with Belos and his brother. And he's like, isn't that how, so aren't we just like them? And it's like, at that moment I'm thinking like, some of the best, even the Titan said it himself, like, Belos is so blind to this that he believes that he's the hero, that he can't see it from every point of view, and that's exactly the point. That is exactly the lesson. Because people say sometimes some of the best villains are the ones that believe they're the hero, the ones that they believe that what they're doing is for the good. But in reality, it's for the worst because of something like this. Like Belos, he lost his brother. And so he didn't want to believe that he was the reason why his brother was gone. He believed that it was this world, the wild witches. He believed that they were the ones. And so he wanted to do everything in his power to avenge his brother and take away this. And it consumed him fully. Like, just fully. Like, for Luce, all she wanted was to learn magic and just help people and do the right thing. It's like, granted, if that is left unsupervised, that could also go down a terrible path. Like, even the Collector, like, all the Collector wanted to do was make friends and have fun, but their definition of friends and fun is very dangerous. So, it really is just finding that understanding and learning and having that balance in a way. It's like, for Luce, just because something goes wrong, she kind of thinks everything she does is just leading to making things worse, but in reality, it's not always her doing, But, King's father, he's like, okay, well, we gotta go back now. And the king was like, how am I gonna go back? And he's like, and King's father's like, well, I've been gone for so long, and I don't have a way back. And he's like, but you do if you take my power. And I'm like, wait, what? She's going to possess the Titan's power? Like, wait, what? And even Luce is like, I don't understand. It's like, and then of course with the Titan being the in between, he literally pulls up a cube and he like shows Luce, like her being kind to King, to being this friend to the King, just because it's his son. It's so I love that because it shows that yes, Luce was chosen, but it's not it's not because she was just born special. This is the classic like chosen one story that she believed. No, it's because that she was just simply being this kind person and being kind to this other person that she was given this. Like, for a good act, she had kind of like this karma. And that's why the Titan was helping her, because Luce was helping his son. And I love that. I love how it really is just, if anyone, like, Ida probably could have been given this if, if maybe she was acting a little bit nice to the King early on. Remember King and Ida's bickering a few times? Like, but if it was just anyone who was nice to King and just needed that help, the Titan was there to do it. Granted, he couldn't do much, but he probably gave Luce the light glyph on the phone. He probably showed the lights in the sky. He showed the snow, he just gives this little message to Luce through these different ways. Like Belos he had no clue. He literally had to work to find these glyphs. So yeah. But in this moment, Luce gets the power of the Titan. But it's only temporary. So I was like, I guess it kind of makes sense. You really can't let Luce go full crazy witch for all of eternity and all that. But yeah, so she is able to come back, and oh my goodness, is the look that she has amazing. Like, oh my god. I think, I'm pretty sure everyone had a list of all the different looks that Luce had throughout the show. This is gonna blow it out of the water. Like, come on. She kind of basically, to sum it up, it's her look that she had when she had the Azora outfit on, plus if she was a Titan, so if she had if she basically had King with fur, she kind of had these claws, and she looks so freaking cool. And so she has the power of the Titan. She can conjure all these spells, and it's just, so Ida and King just, oh my goodness, it is so freaking cool. And the music, they play the theme in these many different ways, this epic way. You have electric guitar, I think, at one point. It's so good. All the while, the group is trying to get everyone out, and I completely forgot. So when Luce died temporarily, and then they cut to black, and then, wait. When Luce comes back, before she came back in the most epic way possible to help Ida, King, and the Collector, wait, did the Collector go off okay. When Luce comes back, they had the scene, so after she leaves the in-between, they have a scene where someone wakes up. And at first I thought that was Luce, but no, it was actually Camila. Because Camila was turned into a toy. And so the group got her out of that. I was like, oh, come on. But basically, so yeah, after that, Camila and the group, they see that the archive house is falling apart because Belos is taking control of the Titan, so everything's going to crap. They had to get him out of there, but like I said, the group is tired. They can't really use their magic, so then they start using glyphs to get everyone out. And then the Collector comes in to help as well, with the archive house starting to fall. The Collector holds on, tries to keep everything up, though he also got some of the Belos scoop on him, so they're fighting for dear life to stay in control. But Luce, Ida, and King, they're flying around. It's so cool. And just, again, the theme is going crazy. And then eventually, Belos is trying so hard to raise one of the arms of the Titan, and then so Luce, Ida, and King they go all the way up to kind of, I don't even know what they were. Oh wait, yeah, they were taking parts of Belos away bit by bit with like different spells. Like I love Luce at first, she's trying to do a circle but she can't, and then Ida's like, here, let me help her. She's like, you gotta picture what you want it to be, and then it's all of a sudden you get the giant ring, and then boom, and then King's like, he starts doing his wham, and Luce, he and Luce do it together, and he and Luce do it together, and it's so much fun. And again, the music, the animation, everything feels so epic. But then they go up to orbit basically, where you see this hand, the arm just reaching all the way up. And then they're like, so how do we stop it? It's like, well, you tell me where does magic come from? It comes from the heart. They say together, they go dive bombing down. And at first I thought they were gonna do like an orbital, like direct shot at the castle or something. But no, they just go into the castle where they find Rain, and they lose Ida and King. They have this epic showdown with Belos, who's trying hard, and it's like, I love this. And then I love Luce, just, she's ripping Belos out from the heart of the Titan, and of course, Belos is like, you can't beat me, you can't win. And then Luce, for one last time, says, do not underestimate me, for I am the good witch Luce. Born in the human realm, raised as a, or witch of the demon realm or something. And then, of course, then she was like, and warrior of peace, now eat. And then, at first I'm like, are they gonna say it? And then she screams, now read this sucker, and rips Belos off from the heart. And so with him gone, everything is stopped, everything's saved, the group, everyone's great, the Collector is fine, everything goes Belos free. And then of course, and everything, it's great. And then Belos he tries one last bit with Luce. He disguises himself as Philip, and he's trying to pretend that this was all cursed and that he had been controlled and that none of it was his doing. And a part of me wishes that they went all the way with this. It starts raining, boiling rain, and so bit by bit Belos is being melted away, but Luce is fine, because again, power of the Titan. And so Belos eventually starts crawling, he's withering away, and he's trying to give every insult to Luce, being like, it's just like basically trying to say that she's just as bad as him. But Luce just standing there, just watching as this, basically, yeah, like Belos being like, we're the same, and it's like, no, you are literally this thing, like this monster. And it's just, a part of me wishes that Luce said one last line, and then she and the group just watch as Belos withers away. Like, I wish that's how they went with it. But then they cut to King, Ida, and Rain just all simultaneously curb stomping the last of Belos. And a part of me is like, it's funny, but I really would have liked it if you just saw all of Belos go wither away. And maybe at the very last one, Luce just being like, no, it's over. Just like, we're not the same Belos, or we're not the same Philip, or something like that. I don't know. But, yeah. And then, let's see. Then we have reunions, reunions all around. Everyone getting back together, all the families, their parents, Willow with her fathers, Gus with his father, Amity with her father, all these reunions. And of course then, you go back to the Owl House, and then Amity and Luce get a kiss, another kiss, and this one, it's short, but it's short and sweet, and it can be cut, yada yada yada, but it's a nice little shot, and it's cute. And then the Collector, they come in, they untoyify everyone, and then, they tell the group that, or, I mean, Luce starts a narration of, like, everything that's happened and being like, the Collector said that they needed to, think about some stuff and actually start growing up, so then they leave. They actually go back to the stars. So a part of me, when it came to the Collector in general, I mean, Dana kind of talked about it too, with them wanting to, kind of contemplating like whether to go all the way with the Collector or not, and so they wanted to, but of course, it's like you only had season 2 and then only 3 specials here. So despite the Collector being this, I feel like the build up to him was short, and even like this resolution with him was kind of short, I feel like. So, but again, I digress because I think the Collector, for what they wanted, for what they put to the show, was good, was all right. So, and then there's another price though with Luce taking the power of the Titans, because after the powers leave, the Titan's heart is basically stopped beating, so that means no more glyph magic. So for Luce, that's it. At least in the current moment of time, she only has her Palisman, String Bean, but seemingly no more glyphs. So I thought that was interesting, the fact that everything was gone. That's it. She's only, like, the very thing that she used to start learning magic is gone, and I felt that was an interesting point. And then they do the flash forward, and it's the entire credits basically with, at first when they started doing the credits, I'm like, wait, is this it? Are they ending it here? Wait, what? And no, the credits go on for a bit. Like, I don't know how long, but it went on for a bit. But Luce is, I think like 17, 18. Like, she was basically, she's getting ready to go to college. But I found it funny how, she's received all these different awards from the demon realm, and I think even the human realm as well. But she's not going to any college in the human realm. She's going to demon realm, a demon realm college. What was it? Yeah. So I love her mom being like, "So what'd you major in?" "I'm majoring in all of them," and I'm like, "Ha ha ha, that's good." And then we get to see everyone growing up. Like, V's older. She looks really cool. Luce looked amazing, and I mean, she looks basically like Dana. I'm pretty sure she's just Dana Terrace. What Dana Terrace looked like, she's got the shorter hair. She's kind of got more of like if you've seen some of Dana Terrace's get-ups, she kind of looks like that. And then we get to see, V, yeah, like I said, V is older. Willow is a fire derby player. Hunter is a Palisman carver, which is so cool. Then he even has, I don't know if this was planned or not, but Hunter has a Blue Jay as a new Palisman. I don't know if that was because of all the different fan art and theories on what Luce's Palisman was going to be or not, but I love that. But also, I forget, Del, Ida's father, helping out as well. That's so good. Then, we get to see Lilith. She's building a museum, and they're rebuilding the school. They're revealing Huckside. You get to see all these different people. It's so cool, and so many things are going on at once. I need to go back and look at them. Then let's see. Oh yeah, Harpy Lilith. Harpy Lilith was so cool. I was wondering if they were gonna do that, but they did. It's so good. We get to see Amity, who I think is both taking up her father's abomination, building, but also I think she's also an explorer, like, because she comes in with this book, and I don't know if it's like charting things out or just, I don't know. And then Gus is also, Gus is a teacher at, let's see, I think it was, I think it was Boiling Isles University of Wild Magic or Wild Magic University or something like that. And Ida's the headmaster, makes sense. She's got a hook, so good. But Gus is a teacher. I think Edric was a teacher. Again, so many things were flying by. I'm gonna have to go back. Um, oh yeah, and then Alador and a few others were able to create a machine to finally remove the sigils, allowing for people to finally use magic again, which is so freaking cool. And then, oh yeah, and the collector made a portal door. At the house, they made a portal door that goes into the owl house, which is so cool. And then everyone's gathering together to throw this grand celebration for Luce. When she comes in, they're so happy for her, and they also said, like, because you were here for your 15th, your 16th, your 17th birthday, we figured why not, which is so good. And then, there's a few more funny jokes, there's a lot of funny moments, but then they revealed, King, who's a little bit older, he reveals that, there are new glyphs because, he is the Titan now, and he's getting, his power is what it emanates throughout the Isles now, and so, he shows Luce a new glyph, and so I like that because it opens up the door for what could possibly come next, if there anything comes next, but we probably know that's not the case. And then the collector comes in, they're throwing this like spectacle in the sky, which is so cool. And then it ends with Luce, Ida, and King, they're all looking up, and it's just being like, they're all reminiscing on everything. And then collectors, and then I love again, this is kind of fourth wall break, but then Luce is like, oh wait, they're leaving. Hang on, guys, on three, 1, 2, 3, bye. And it's like everyone that was there said bye, and you just get the shot of everyone. And of course, you know why that is, because that's the last shot we see. That's the last shot we see. I mean, best episode in the series, without a doubt, in my opinion. Like, this is, like, there's just so many great episodes. But this I felt like it did everything the Owl House was. It was funny, it was colorful, it was dark, it was epic, it was scary, it was so good with the characters, it was so satisfying, it was cool with the magic, it was everything. There are a lot of finales that I love, and I feel like this is one that's near the top. I don't think it's the best. I mean, there's so many good finales. I mean, I'm gonna say right now, I think it's better as a final episode than what Amphibia was with The Hardest Thing. Like, don't get me wrong, The Hardest Thing was a great finale, but everyone agrees All In was better for what it was. That's what I think here. Like, Watching and Dreaming did a really great job at wrapping everything up and making it feel satisfying, epic, and not as as I think people thought would be. So, I mean, I've probably got a lot more to say, but for now, I'm just going to end it there. So I hope you guys enjoyed all that. And for those that have been watching my Owl House vlog series from the beginning, I don't know how many there are, but thank you for being on this journey with me. Because for me, there are a lot, like I said, there's been so many shows I love. There are so many shows, especially the animated shows. This is one that this was really like the first one where I was really questioning if I was gonna like this or not, because I'm like, is this gonna be like Gravity Falls? I was a kid when Gravity Falls came out, and at first I wasn't sure how to feel about it because it was one of those first shows that made me feel confused with the weirdness that it had. Like, a lot of shows were weird, don't get me wrong, but that was really the first one I'm like, this is intriguing. I don't know how to feel about it. Like, because I think it was really just the horror comedy behind that. You know, it's like one of the first shots in that show is Dipper and Mabel being chased by a monster, and then later on you find out the monster is just a bunch of gnomes. So I think for me that felt weird. But now I realize, no, that's hilarious. Here I think it was just, I think, again, because kind of how Disney worked with the show a bit, is it started off a lot more light, a lot more Disney-ish, and then it ends here. It just feels so. It doesn't feel completely. It's completely different from what the show started off as. But don't get me wrong, this feels completely on point with what the whole show was about. So, at least in my opinion. So, but yeah. So I don't know what I'll do now, because again, this was the show that kind of kicked off all these vlogs for me. So I don't know where I'm gonna go now with this. I mean, I got Bad Batch, but Bad Batch season 3, who knows when that's gonna be? So you know what? Let me know what other shows you want me to watch. Let me know what other shows that I should maybe do vlogs on. I've seen a few. I mean, there are some that I've been watching, but I mean, it'd be fun to go back and rewatch some episodes and kind of feel like, you know, what's changed. So let me know what shows I should watch. Granted, I don't know if I'll be able to get to them because, I mean, I own streaming services. I have streaming services, but I don't know if I'll get to the specific show you guys want me to watch. But just let me know if you want me to watch any. So let me know down in the comments. And with all that said, if you like this video, leave a like. If you want to leave a comment, leave a comment. And if you want to subscribe, subscribe. You don't have to. I'm just saying. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.